Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here with some insight and some things that you guys may not have seen. Recently, we talked about the Gentlemates roster. We talked recently about how, hey, dope announcement video, and as you guys are seeing it, they've got English subtitles, so if you guys want to check it out, please do so. But they have announced, hey, Juicy, Seiko, and Radosin. That's what's going on. That's who we have. That is who is going to be part of this process. But what ended up happening is one of the owners ended up in a recent interview talking more about what the upcoming season was going to look like. And because of that, they ended up leaking some information. If you guys haven't seen this or don't know, and I honestly believe this is the case because it was intended for last year. And if we take a step back and kind of talk about that, back in 2023, 2024, so at the start of the 2024 season, there was conversations about where the land locations were going to be. There was supposed to be one in France. There was one in like the Netherlands. And then I forget what the last one was supposed to be, somewhere potentially on like the East Coast. But the reason why those didn't happen is because Blast ended up winning the bid to run production for RLCS last minute. So what did they do? Hey, we're gonna go to our back pocket. We're gonna go into Copenhagen, which is where we're based. Makes it very easy for production. We're gonna go to London because it's a tried and true, and we know that the Copper Box is well celebrated. And then we're going to go to Texas because our World Championship for Fortnite is there, which is what we also run. It'll make it easy to keep it in-house, makes it super simple. We already got venue relationships. It'll be great. We'll run it back. So they kept it as simple and as simplistic as possible to make sure that everybody was able to just kind of put this season together. It's a trial and error season, some regression, trying to figure things out so they can improve moving forward. But they had full intentions of going to those other venues and doing something in France and doing something in these other locations with the intention of making sure that they went and kind of celebrated what has been, honestly, dominance for France. If you guys don't know kind of the trend of how they do the like World Championship locations, obviously they go and scout ahead of time and they try to figure out, okay, what venues are available, what can we accommodate with, where can we go? And the reality is a lot of those places either aren't available or it's something that takes years of planning. There is, though, an implication of the World Championship being located in France. And I am a firm believer of Squeezy, who is one of the big content creators in the region, as well as one of the co-owners of Gentlemates. We had a Reddit thread about it that actually provides a little bit of insight. I can play the video. I can't understand what he is saying, but there is a couple important graphics that you're going to see in here. We do have some goats on social medias that have a rough translation of them talking with the guys. And it says, hey, guys, this year's can we say it or not, the Worlds. Everyone stops him. No, it's not. It's not. And he says, we don't know where it is. What we can't say is tell yourself in the earpiece before we all get banned from Rocket League. Laughing. Eversax, he's the head agent for the Birmingham Major, implying some source information. Squeezy says, that's all we can say. Eversax says, that's all we can say. Squeezy says, that sucks. The other info I wanted to say is much better. They sent me some info to the screen. Look, here's the schedule of the season. Oh dear. But where can the Worlds be? I don't know. But in any case, it's at the end of September. Yes, where can it be? In what location? I don't know. We hope many of you will come and support us, friends. Which implies that the World Championship is going to be in France. You can see them talking about it, and it does have kind of the general schedule that they have talked about. And we already knew the general schedule. Official signups are out. If you guys didn't know, if you want to sign up your team for the RLCS, it starts January 3rd. They have all the details of when and where and how, when we're going to see. If you guys haven't seen my video about the schedule, we talked about that last week as well, where it goes over all the specifics you need to know of like how things are going to work out, what the format is and whatnot. But they heavily imply that the World Championship is going to be somewhere in France. Where specifically is a different story. Is it going to be in Paris? Is it going to be somewhere else? We don't know. My recommendation is you can go look up at other esports events where they're normally held. The only thing that I don't think will happen, which I saw some people actually talking about, is like, well, K-Corp's got their venue. Why don't we do it there? One, heavy bias. Good luck with that. Two, it's only 3,000 seats, so it probably won't happen. So it is going to be pretty crazy. My big concerns, as well as something we've had to do as well in the past with Spain due to the labor laws, they require that commentating in person has to be French. So if you're in the venue there watching, it will be in French, and then the online broadcast will be in English. I don't know if that's the case. That is some of the things that have been predated and things that have been stated in the past, and it was pretty poorly received in Madrid. Don't know if that's going to be the similar situation. I highly expect a ton of French support if they do end up doing the World Championship in France. But I don't know if it's what's best for the esports. So I will have to see how this one goes. At the end of the day, it is a business. They want to do their best to make sure they sell seats. They want to make sure they have butts in seats and it looks good. And trust me, if they can get that level of support from the K-Corp guys, what we saw recently with their latest event with like what was 30,000 people chanting and coordinated lights, and it was crazy. But if you can get that versus the Golden Hornets versus the Gentlemates versus, I think it would be a really cool experience for anyone attending, which I don't necessarily disagree with them leaning into that. But I will say it does need to be accessible for everyone. Otherwise, you are basically removing a lot of the diehards and the people that would go. And I hope selfishly that they put this information out ahead of time. This is kind of just a thing of, if they are planning to do this, they need to make sure they think about that stuff, because it has been very problematic in the past. For the people locally, they're going to love it. It's going to be amazing. I'm sure the environment will be absolutely incredible. But for those that aren't part of that niche, it could be a problem. So potential World Championship in France. Honestly, kind of dope. Whether it'll actually happen or not, we'll have to wait and see. But potentially leaked by the Gentlemates ownership team, accidentally or not. I did not get to see that live and everything, but there was a lot of conversations going down as well, talking about how this may potentially happen. But yeah, heavily implied. Hopefully he doesn't get in trouble, because that's one of the reasons why Psyonix and Epic don't announce things early. If anything, this tells me the reason why they should announce it earlier. They should just do the full roadmap for the year right out of the gate, because then you avoid these things. Either way, that's going to do it for today's video. Quick one for y'all here. Questions, comments, concerns. How do you feel about it being in France? I personally think it's been about time. But while you're down there, like, subscribe, notifications, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.